going to do today is I got this roof that I bought several years ago off of eBay, and the goal back then was I bought it because it was only like $100, and I was going to clean it up because it has some damage on it, and was going to use it for one project or another, or have a spare in case somebody needed one. I could, resell it to them or whatever. But anyway, what I've decided I'm going to do with it is clean it up, repaint it. I'm going to paint it a matte black so that it'll match kind of, I guess, a satin matte or satin matte black, whatever, so that it'll match some of the other colors of what I've got going on with the car. And so I can replace the center section of my roof, because with this car, this roof piece comes out, and that's basically the same thing. So any of the Corvettes with the removable targa roof, this will work for them. And then eventually the halo is what they call it, that goes over the center section here. I'm going to wrap that in a matte black also. And so basically the whole top half of the car is going to be black. It's just a different look, and doing it this way, I don't have to sand or paint or wrap or damage the yellow roof that I've already got. I've got a spare roof. If it doesn't work out, I can always wrap it, but at the same time, I'm not out that much, and honestly, I could probably sell all the hardware off of this thing and get my money back out of it. But anyway, I'm going to start off, I'm going to clean it up, and then I want to remove these weather strippings. There's, from what I gather, there's 3 screws on each side, and the weather stripping should come off, but I've never had one of these apart, so this will be a learning experience. So I'm going to do that, and the nice thing about it is the underside of this roof is already all black, so painting it is going to be pretty easy. Now, there is a little bit of damage on a couple of the edges where it got dropped or whatever from the previous owner, and I guess the previous owner had the roof under their bed or something, and so when I bought it, there was some damage right in this area here, a bunch of big scratches and whatnot. And there's a couple other places that are more scratches, and I sanded it out, and I wanted to see how it looked, and so basically that's what I'm going to do, is finish sanding it all out, get it ready for paint, prep it, and then go ahead and paint it myself. I'm going to do it the easy way first, which is I'm going to use a rattle can, see how it comes out. If it doesn't come out that well, then I'll probably go ahead and use a regular paint gun and mix some paint and do it that way. But I'm hoping to avoid that. I'd like to do it the easiest way, the cheapest way, but the important thing is it still has to look good when it's done. So I've never taken one of these apart, like I said, so let's get to it. Let's see what happens with it. Okay, let's get started pulling this thing apart. I've got on here, let me see if I can show it, is just a Torx bit. It's a Torx 15 is what it looks like the screw head in there takes or feels like, and so let's take this thing apart. That was pretty easy, actually. It's 4 screws along the side. The weather strip comes right off, and basically, based on what I can see, I have access to everything, so that when I mask it all off, it's going to be all right where it needs to be. Part of it with the weather stripping too is it goes around the top side of the roof. This piece that's in here, find out where I'm at. Anyway, show this one here. When it sits there, it sits in like this, like. Well, that's the other side of it, but I'm getting it all backwards. That's the way it goes in there. Then anyway, this piece of the weather stripping that's here, in here actually goes over the outside lip right here, so that'll work. That covers up any tape line or anything that there is there. So it was actually a little bit easier than I thought it would be, and the screws were captured inside, so I'm thinking that I'll probably be able to just, instead of pulling them all the way out, I'm just going to leave them in there and push the screws through, and when I go to reassemble it, I'll just line all 4 of them up and then kind of get it in where it goes and tighten them up that way. So that way I'm not losing anything. I did have a plastic bag over there that was ready for them in case I needed them. So, all right. So there we have that part. It's all kind of pulled apart. And let me go ahead and get set up and flip it over and work on the other side of it. Okay, I don't know if you can see it or not in this back edge here. It looks like it had gotten dropped at some point in time, and there's a big kind of a chip out of it right here. And then just kind of on this back edge. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and sand this down a little bit, and then mix up a little bit of body filler just to fill that in and kind of recontour it back into to make sure that it feels the same all the way across. Now that little thing that's in there, once this is done, it probably wouldn't be noticeable anyway, but just in case we wind up having to wrap this thing, I want to make sure that it's done on a good surface so that there's no imperfections that are going to show through the wrap once you put it on later. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and do that. Plus I haven't done that in a long time. I haven't used body filler, so I'm going to go ahead and mix them up and see how it works out. Okay, what I've got is a sanding block. I've got 220 wet and dry. It might be a little bit rough, but we'll see. I mean, maybe not. I guess it feels okay. I think really what I want to do is just rough it up enough so that the body filler will stick to it. And it's only a small area, so let's see what happens. Worst that can happen is it just won't work, right? Bucket with water, and there we go. Let me grab some towels. Let's wipe this thing down, because alright, it's sanded. I wiped it down, and now I'm going to hit it with some wax and grease remover, just a little bit to clean everything off, to make sure it all sticks real good. Now I don't even know if this is something that I need to do or not, but it makes sense to do it. So now I know some of you out there that are watching have some experience with auto body and paint way more than what I do, so go ahead and let me know whether I'm doing it right or doing it wrong, or does it really matter at this point. So alright, so from there I'm going to go grab the stuff, get my filler, mix it up. I only need such a tiny amount of filler. I would probably be better off using a glazing putty instead of a filler, but I don't have any glazing putty. I've got filler, so that's what we're going to use. Alright, so I was reading the directions on the can, and they were talking about using just enough to basically fill what you need, but then they were also talking about if you have pinholes, to use glazing putty. So basically what I'm trying to fill is probably about a pinhole, so we'll see how that works out. And I'm sure I've got probably not even anywhere close to enough of what needs to be done. Well, let me go grab a stick to stir that with. Alright, I'm back here with a paint stick. Thanks to the helpful folks at Ace Hardware. I just love the freebies. Yeah, I could probably get away with using just a little bit of what's on the lid, but mix up a little bit of this. Stir it up a little bit. Alright, so I went ahead and got this all done. Right now we're sitting at over a half an hour, so I want to see what this kind of stands out. See how it looks. I think I might have to actually get a heavier grit sandpaper, but maybe not. Maybe it'll be alright. Since it's not that big of an area, I'm just trying to make sure that I sand in the filler instead of out onto the ends to it, so I don't make the problem worse. Alright everyone, that's a wrap for this video. I'm going to do the second half. It's going to be part 2 of this one, which should consist of the priming, painting, and reassembly, so hopefully that all goes well. If you haven't already done so, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button, as well as if you like the video, smash that like. Put a comment down below, tell me what's going on, tell me what you think, and if you have suggestions or recommendations, maybe something that I missed or something that would have made it easier, put it down there, because if I do another one of these videos, I'll certainly use that information to share that. I'm by no means a professional with this type of stuff, and I know there's a lot of people that, probably friends of mine that are watching this video, that are going to go, "Well, don't be an idiot like that, you should have done this," but the only reason I did it the way I did it is because that's all I know how to do it. So anyway, again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on down the road.